Hi everybody, it's Kristine Sperling from Makes3. I hope you're having an organic day, and thank you so much for joining me in this series of videos that I'm calling What Does Organic Mean Anyway? Last week we talked about the definition of the word organic, and this week we're going to explore that word by focusing in on organic produce. Understanding organic eating is really a gateway into organic living in general. So if we can really understand why you would want to prioritize the purchase of organic food when you're going to the grocery store, you can start to make other organic choices in your day that we believe will lead to a healthier life. So let's talk about organic produce. An organic plant would be one that comes from living things. That's easy. But it would also be a plant that is produced without the use of chemical fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides, and other artificial agents. And that phrase, artificial agent, is also very important. It really ties into our discussion of GMOs, which we started last week in our blog post. But let's start talking about chemical fertilizers, herbicides, and pesticides first. These chemicals are being sprayed on our food in higher quantities than at any other time in history. Something to the tune of 1 billion pounds of chemicals are sprayed on fields every year in this country alone. And there are a lot of people, ourselves included, who believe that the use of these chemicals is contributing to the health problems that our children and ourselves are experiencing. And so making it a priority to buy organic food and reducing the amount of exposure that we have to these chemicals, we believe is really important. And we'll talk more about that in later videos. But first, let's talk about GMOs, because you can't get into organics without understanding GMOs. And a lot of people have heard the word genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, and have seen sort of political slogans about labeling our food if it contains GMOs, but we don't really understand what it means. And so when we started exploring that last week, I wanted to talk about it to you directly. A genetically modified organism, or a genetically modified plant, is one who has had its DNA artificially in a laboratory altered for a specific purpose. This is much different than hybridization or advanced hybridization, which is interference by human beings to create new breeds of plants. And in nature, hybridization naturally occurs. That's how polar bears came into existence. It's how 100,000 different beetles have come into existence. And it is a natural process that occurs over generations and generations and generations. And human beings have been able to alter plants through the use of hybridization as well. And that doesn't produce the same problems as GMOs do, because hybridization can only occur between organisms that would naturally reproduce with one another in nature. Whereas a GMO is a laboratory-induced modification to the genetic code of a plant, generally by taking the genetic code of a bacteria and inserting it into a plant for a specific purpose. And we'll talk more about that next week. So please stay tuned, because the reason why we are altering the genetic code of plants is actually the most important part. So we look forward to talking to you more about that next week. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment. And we would love it if you would share our videos. You can find them across our social media outlets. And we look forward to talking to you again next week, where we will further explore what the heck is a GMO. Thanks again, and have a great Thanksgiving, and we are so thankful that you are joining us on this journey. Take care. Bye-bye.